Welcome back. In this video lecture, I will discuss very important and very repeatable interview question. If you attend an interview, definitely you will get the question what is the difference between the cluster index and non-cluster index. And this is the very important. The reason is when you work in the real time, these two indexing always be required, and 99%, 100% even the table we have either cluster index and non-cluster index. So by default, if you work into this any type of the database, cluster index definitely will have. So that is the reason always interviewer will ask you this type of the question, and try to understand what level of the experience, what level of the knowledge you have. So in this video lecture, I will provide you the complete into the detail, so you will never forget into the interview, or this will be very helpful when you work into the real time. So let's start with the what basically we have the difference between the cluster index and non-cluster index. So when you talk about the cluster index, so basically when cluster index got created, the data is physically ordered into the table. So you need to be answered in the interview how practically you have the knowledge, and how you solving the business problem. So let's see the example here. I have one table. What is the meaning of physically sort? So if you let me create one table here, okay, in this database. The table name is employee index. So this is the very fresh table created, and there is no index is applied. But when we insert the data, I'm inserting employee ID, name and salary. I'm inserting the employee ID 1 first, then 5, then 4, then 2, then 3. So whatever the data you order, basically this table we have the same the order of the data. Let me put the select star from this table name. So this will be display first employee ID 4, then 1, then 5, then 4, then 2 and 3. Same like you can see in the same order the data will be display. And when you select any type of the data, they will basically, let's example this table I have around uh, 500 k record, okay. And let's example I have the employee ID, okay. So basically emp id are inserted at basically very last record, okay, like uh, example 49900 something record will be there, okay, 459 or 459 something like that. So if you 459 place, if you have any employee ID is equal to 4 is got inserted, and if you try to search the employee ID is equal to 4, so SQL engine what they can do, they can scan the entirely record 500 k record, and then they can find, oh, 459 line this uh, basically this value will be fine. So how you can see this result? Just you can go here. So we have one execution plan. So execution plan is basically we have the pictorial representation. So just you can click the actual execution plan, and if you can run this one out of this, you can see for John 100. So one plan will be created, execution plan, and here you can see the entirely scan will be there. They have performed all the table scan, and physically operation you can see table scan, and you can see very important what storage they have. This have the row store, okay. So this is will be deep, so we will discuss all the execution plan in the performance tuning topic, but just focus how the physically data will be sorted. So now before running query, you can see the data is 15423 is there, but when we when we create the cluster index, so syntax is the create cluster index, and you can put the index name ix underscore table underscore, you can put the column name as well, and the table name, and this index will be created one employee ID. So once you create the index, and if you can again run this part of the select statement, so now you can see the data physically got sorted 1 2 3 4 5, and once you run this part of the code, so now you can see the data will be display the index seek. What is the meaning of the index seek? So index seek is basically they directly jump to the employee ID 4 and they will populate the record. And if you can see the physical operation and logical operation are got changed. This will be cluster index seek. Previously this was the in table scan was there. So the data will be sorted physically. So this is the major difference you need to be answered. But when you talk about the non-cluster index, data will be not sorted. So basically non-cluster index will create the separate data point that we can't see. Okay, so same like if I creating the table, and if you can see this table, we have the same data order. I'm selecting till the non-cluster index 154, and this will be table scan. But when you when you create the non-cluster index, so I'm creating the non-cluster index, and again I'm selecting the data till here, you can see data will be not sorted. So SQL engine basically they create the separate each and every data point. So once you read this execute this employee ID 4, they basically jump to the data point of 4 what they store, and they can perform the table scan. So this is the reason cluster index is always faster than non-cluster index. So if you explain like cluster index is faster than non-cluster, the interviewer will ask you the cross question why the cluster index is faster than non-cluster index. So you need to be answered that cluster index will be work based on the index seek, non-cluster index will be work on the table scan. So this is a major. Other than this also we have the couple of the document like book difference as well. Like if you create the basically primary key, by default cluster index got created, and if you create the non unique key, by default the non cluster index will be created. Since the data basically ordered physically, so you can create only one cluster index. Why? The reason is because data can only sorted physically only one time. It cannot sort it multiple time. This is the reason we only create the only one cluster index. So always try to prepare with the some cross question when the interviewer will ask, and if you able to answer the cross question, definitely interviewer will select you. And for column that are often used in range query or sorting, basically in that table employee ID, customer ID, something like that column we need to be create the index. Non-cluster index we can create multiple, we don't have the limitation now based on the version. And non-cluster index is basically where we have what column is basically used into the where clause, what column you will use in the join. In that column only you need to be create the non-cluster index. So very common question they ask, how you can define that this column is required the non-cluster index. So whatever the column is used in the where clause, join condition, filtering, on that column basically we need to be create the non-cluster index. So this is the summary of the difference, data sorted physically only one per table, they have can multiple non-cluster index. Leaf node contain actual data, contain index plus pointer, faster for range query, sorting, joins, faster for lookup, filtering condition. Primary key sequential, basically searching, filtering on the key column use cases. Okay, so this is the major difference cluster and non-cluster index. So we'll discuss more into the performance related like execution plan under the performance tuning. So keep learning, keep growing. Thank you so much.